How the hell did you know they were the police?
I read this novel in elementary school. Cops are staking out a hotel. One of them dresses as a bellhop, the other is a man in a suit. And it was the exact same thing.
You read a novel in elementary school.
What? I like to read.
And why'd you ask them what time it was?
Throw him off. I mean, what kind of drug dealer asks a cop what time it is when he's got a briefcase full of pot, right?
We should hire you. Jesus, I'd give you the 25 grand as a signing bonus.
I'll take it.
Unfortunately, we only hire from Harvard. And you not only did not go to Harvard Law School, you haven't even gone to any law school.
What if I told you that I consume knowledge like no one you've ever met and I've actually passed the bar?
I'd say you're full of crap.
That's a Barbary legal handbook right there, right? Open it up. Read me something. Anything.
Civil liability associated with agency is based on several factors,
including the deviation of the agent from his path, the reasonable inference of agency on behalf of the plaintiff, and the nature of the damages themselves.
How did you know that?
I learned it when I studied for the bar.
Okay, hotshot. Fire up this laptop. I'm gonna show you what a Harvard attorney can do. Pick a topic.
Stock option backdating.
Although backdating options is legal, violations arise related to disclosures under IRC Section 409A.
You forgot about Sarbanes-Oxley.
The statute of limitations renders Sarbanes-Oxley moot post-2007.
Well, not if you can find actions to cover up the violation as established in the Sixth Circuit, May 2008.
It's impressive, but you're sitting at a computer.
Playing hearts. Sorry, if you want to beat me, you're gonna have to do it as something else.
How can you know all that?
I told you, I like to read. And once I read something, I understand it. And once I understand it, I never forget it.
Why take the bar?
This dickhead bet me I couldn't pass it without going to law school.
Okay, look, this is all pretty fascinating stuff, but I'm afraid I gotta get back to work. I'll make sure that Serpico isn't around waiting for you. You want this job so much, why don't you just go to law school?
When I was in college, it was my dream to be a lawyer. I needed some money, and Trevor convinced me to memorize this math test and sell it. Turns out we sold it to the dean's daughter. I lost my scholarship, I got kicked out of school, I got knocked into a different life. And I have been wishing for a way back ever since.
Let me tell you something. This isn't elementary school. This is hard work, long hours, high pressure. I need a grown goddamn man.
You give me this, and I will work as hard as it takes to school those Harvard douches and become the best lawyer you have ever seen.
I'm inclined to give you a shot, but what if I decide to go another way?
I'd say that's fair. And sometimes I like to hang out with people who aren't that bright, you know, just to see how the other half lives.
Move over. I'm emailing the firm. I just found our next associate.
What do you think you're doing reopening this case?
Making sure an innocent man doesn't suffer for the crimes of others. What about Jill? Don't you care how she suffered? You two would know more about that than anyone, right?
Excuse me?
I bought the Devastated Friend Act 12 years ago, but I know better now. Mike, meet Jason Black and Matt Bailey. Just don't shake their hands. They've got Jill Hodgkin's blood all over them.
Look, I don't know what you think you know, but when I'm done testifying, the jury's gonna know that Clifford killed Jill.
Just because you switched sides doesn't mean the rest of the world did.
We just lost the letter.
What?
I didn't realize he'd have the nerve to lie on the stand.
It's not exactly a giant leap from killing someone.
Perjury and murder, they aren't the same thing.
Yeah, murder's worse.
It's easier, nobody's watching. Let's go.
Mr. Black, what exactly did Jill tell you regarding the defendant?
She told me she felt trapped. I thought she was talking about school, but now I know what she meant. That letter was dated a week before she was killed. She must have broken up with him, and this is how he paid her back.
Mr. Black, you said you didn't see Jill Hodgkins at all on the day of the murder. Is that correct?
Correct?
So there'd be no reason for your blood to be on any of her clothing at all?
No, there'd be no reason.
Would you be willing to have a DNA test, Mr. Black?
Objection, Your Honor, prejudicial.
We'll pay for it if that's a problem.
Mr. Specter.
It's about the DNA, and they can't spin that. Detective Packle, the dress wasn't the only article of clothing that you submitted, was it?
No, there was a camisole.
Was it in your report?
Yeah, if you bothered to read it.
I did read it, Detective. And what was the DNA analysis on that camisole?
I never picked it up.
Why is that?
Well, it wasn't ready till 2 days later, and we already had enough from the dress.
Enough? A man's life is at stake. Enough for what?
Enough for you to put him away without bringing it up for 12 years.
Well, I did pick up that test, along with the camisole.
Your Honor, I'd like to request a sidebar.
On what grounds?
The camisole and any evidence connected to it are inadmissible.
This is bullshit.
Easy. What?
Your Honor, in between picking up the camisole at the precinct and dropping it off at the lab, you can see here the document is flawed. Therefore, the chain of possession with respect to the camisole was broken.
You have to be kidding me.
It's inadmissible.
First 6.
What?
First 6 months are the hardest. And you mind? I don't know if I can do that again.
Mr. Specter, you are accusing a police officer of tampering with evidence.
Yes, I am. When the results of the DNA test came back, they didn't line up, and Detective Packle changed the custody documents.
Even if Mr. Specter's assertions were true, it would automatically taint the evidence anyway.
He's got a point.
That camisole was what allowed us to reopen this case in the first place.
The camisole was proof that evidence was buried. That's why the case was reopened. An entirely separate issue from whether that evidence can be used in this trial.
Clifford, I don't know what's going on in there, but no matter what they rule, he's not going to lose this one.
You sure?
Yeah, I am.
Your Honor.
That's enough. I'm instructing the jury to disregard all testimony relating to either the camisole or the resulting DNA test.
Oh, my goodness, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
Get out of my
What
face.
the hell are you doing reopening this?
You worried about getting caught intentionally tainting evidence?
I didn't taint anything. What I did was help you put away a guilty man for brutally killing a young girl. And I'm not going to let you drag my reputation through the gutter. Not without consequences.
Are you threatening me? Because the truth is, you wouldn't even be here if you hadn't done something wrong.
Me? Yeah. It's all well and good for you to drag up shit from the past, huh? You're protected by your shiny suit, right?
What are you talking about?
Lawyers never go after their own. What is that Denzel movie? Tell it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Sometimes the good guys got to do bad things to make the bad guys pay.
It's time to start painting outside the lines.
How?
If Muhammad won't come to the mountain, we need to bring the mountain to Muhammad.
Really? The mountain to Muhammad?
It's a thing.
Yeah, I know. It just has no meaning to me in this situation.
You said you could think like me. Figure it out.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
What is it?
You tell me, I'll confirm.
Nice try.
Damn it!
They never checked.
What do you mean they never checked?
The internet was not what it is today. It was not so easy to catch plagiarism.
That's awesome. Wait a minute. If you graduated college then that would make you...
Old enough to run my own law firm.
But you look so young.
Well, you know what they say.
Mm-hmm.
True beauty
Black
is ageless.
don't crack. That's what I meant to say.
Well, enough about me. I want to hear about you. What was Harvard like?
I was 3 when I realized that I wasn't like the other kids. When school started, it was like a joke. I didn't take notes. I never studied.
Every year, people would tell me, next year, you won't get away with it. I kept waiting for it to get harder, but just never did.
And Harvard?
I knew it would end. And it had to. I thought, yeah, I'd finally found a place where I'd be exposed. But it turns out, even at the mighty Harvard Law,
You weren't the same as the other kids.
I know it sounds cocky.
Not to me. The fact is, you don't think of yourself as smart. You've always had your mind. It just is what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I don't think of myself as smart, you know? I just think of everybody else as
Idiots.
not smart.
That's what I meant to say. Why the law?
It's kind of personal.
Isn't that why we're here?
When I was 11, my parents were on their way home from dinner, and they were involved in a really horrible accident. And my grandmother took me in. And it wasn't until I was much older that I realized that we had a case. See, it turns out this restaurant, they kept feeding this Mr. Fenton drinks long after they knew. Didn't matter. I felt so helpless. And I didn't want to feel that way ever again.
Harvey was right.
About what?
I hope you brought your checkbook. Dinner's on you.
Wait, what was Harvey right about?
How was dinner?
Free caviar. What's not to love?
If you want to know something about me, you should have just asked me.
Why can't I just be getting to know Mr. Ross the way I got to know you?
Because if you're just trying to get to know him, you would have told me about the dinner. Something's going on, and I want to know what it is.
An allegation was made that Mike Ross never went to Harvard or any other law school for that matter. So I had him checked out. Squeaky clean. Graduated top of his class. So I took him to dinner. I wanted to see what you saw in him that makes him so special.
And?
I get it. He's a total package. Maybe even the best of both of us.
I hope this doesn't mean you're going to put me in charge of recruiting.
No, not to worry. You are off the hook. Harvey, one more thing. He might have checked out clean. But I know that kid's full of shit. Because there may be a record of him graduating from Harvard Law, but there's no record of him graduating from any college anywhere on the face of the earth. So I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that you didn't know. Because I don't want to do what I would do if you did. And what you're going to do is fire that goddamn kid.
Hey.
Hey.
I never got to buy you that drink last night.
They were free.
I know. You left.
I did.
It was a nice party.
It was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I see you're still not going to tell me why
I didn't get into Harvard. Don't look at me that way.
With sympathy?
With pity.
I wasn't. Rachel, listen to me. There are other schools.
Don't.
Yeah, I won't.
It wasn't that I wasn't good enough.
I know that.
It was Lewis.
What?
The interviewer. Apparently she and Lewis had a history and...
Wait, she didn't let you in because of him? That's...
I know.
Not right.
I know. Tell me about the day you found out.
Rachel, come on.
No. I need to hear how it felt from someone who got in, because I'll never hear that from myself. looking at me like that again.
I'm not.
Then what?
It's just not right.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I'm not in the mood.
I know about Rachel and Sheila and Harvard.
How?
Rachel told me. She wants me to send this letter going over Sheila's head, but it can't come from me.
Yeah, it can't come from anyone. She didn't get in because they didn't think she was good enough.
You lied to her.
No, I never lied to her. I told her she was good enough, which she is. But I let her down because I couldn't persuade Sheila, which is the truth.
Louis, you have to tell her the real truth.
Mike, I saw the look on her face and I took it away. I do not want to put it back.
She is gonna pursue this. She's gonna find out one way or the other. I'm not gonna let her find out from Harvard.
I can't tell her.
You'll regret it. Look, I'll give you another day to think about it, but after that, I have to tell her myself. Rachel, look, I'm sorry, but I am not...
When did you send that letter?
I was,
I'll tell you when. Never.
Okay, look, let me explain. When I went to see Louis, he told me what really happened.
I know. He told me to. And I get it. I'm not good enough. What I don't get, Mike, is why you didn't have the courage to just come and tell me that yourself.
Look, he lied to you. I thought he deserved the chance to tell you himself, all right? When I went to his office to get him to sign the letter,
You went to him to sign the letter? You told me you were gonna sign the letter.
No.
So you lied to me.
No, I didn't. I told you that I would help you.
That is such bullshit! That's not what you meant, and you know it. You've been cagey with me since the second I came to you about the letter, and you're being cagey with me right now. You're lying to me.
Not today, Rachel.
Then
please
what
stop.
day, Mike? Because it's always something. It is always some secret or some story or some lie. It's
You don't understand.
I don't understand
You
what.
don't understand what I have been through. You don't understand what I have lost. Because it's everything. Everyone that I love. Trevor, my grandmother, Harvey, now probably this job. I am not ready to lose you. Not today.
Then tell me.
I never went to Harvard.
What?
I'm a fraud. Rachel. Rachel.
You know what an Oscar looks like?
What?
Academy Award. Bald guy. I mean, of course, we all know what it looks like, but especially you. You're an actress. It's the highest honor in your field. I mean, of course, you don't need to be told what it is.
What are you talking about?
See, the highest academic honor in Harvard Law is the Order of the Coif. You don't get a trophy. You get three things. You get a parchment to hang on your wall, a medal to wear at graduation, and this. Now, this key doesn't say Order of the Coif, doesn't say anything. It's just a symbol.
What does that have to do with Harvey?
Doesn't. It has to do with Mike.
You know what, Louis? It's been a long day.
It's about to get longer. See, Mike asked me about this. And I thought he was... I thought he was trying to get my mind off of my problems. But then he did it again. And it got me to thinking. Mike graduated magna cum laude. He's in Order of the Coif. But he didn't recognize this.
So he forgot a stupid key.
Mike Ross doesn't forget anything. See, the reason he didn't recognize this was because he never got one. because he didn't go to Harvard.
Louis, we've been down this road before. Mike is in the Harvard database.
But he's not in the yearbook. And according to his credit report, his address during his law school years was in New York. He even paid rent the first of the month in person.
Well, I'm sure there's an explanation.
Sit down! Last year, you told me not to tell Sheila about Mike's file. You acted like you cared about me. You didn't give a shit about me. You cared about you and Harvey.
No.
And Mike.
No.
And Jessica.
Louis, that's not true.
Well, let's call Sheila right now. I know all of the numbers by heart. I mean, she may not be interested in me anymore, but she will definitely be interested in a fraud claiming that he went to Harvard.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry? You've been lying to me since the day Mike Ross arrived. I knew Harvey and Jessica never really accepted me, but I thought you were different. I thought you were my friend.
I am your friend, Louis.
No, you're not. And don't you ever say that to me again.
Where are you going?
To see your friend Jessica.
Louis knows.
Louis.
I know you're a stickler for the rules, so I figured I'd just come by to return my ID.
You want an explanation?
I want to see you perp walk through the bullpen with your pretty little jacket draped over your handcuffs. But until then, yeah, I'll take an explanation.
When I found out the truth about Mike Ross, it had already been done.
By Harvey. Right after he made senior partner over me, that's when he hired the fraud. That's the correct timeline, right?
Yes.
So instead of turning him in, you cover it up.
Louis.
And the one time that I do something, you don't cover it up at all. You throw me to the wolves.
I saved you from the wolves.
And I ask you for the smallest gesture, just to allow my career to continue with dignity, and you couldn't muster the tiniest shred of compassion.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell me you're a liar! And a hypocrite! I want you to say you're sorry.
I am a liar. And I am a hypocrite. But I will not say I'm sorry. Because I did what I did to protect this firm.
Well, looks like the captain's about to go down with her ship.
Bullshit. You want something?
Oh, I told you. I want to see you
In handcuffs? If that were true, the police would be here instead of you. No. You wanted to see me squirm before asking me for what you really want. I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction. So you might as well spit it out.
You asked me what I wanted once before, and I told you, and then you told me that I couldn't have it. But now I can. Pearson. Specter. Lit.
I'm glad you're here. I need to tell you something.
Whatever it is, it might not matter after I give you this.
What is it?
Harvey, you didn't just give me my dream. You gave me a family. But I'm gonna have a family of my own someday, and I can't have all of this hanging over their heads.
You're resigning.
I am.
You know, you want to ask me why I hired you. And I told you it was because life is like this. And I like this.
Harvey, please, you can't convince
me. Let me finish. It was like this, not because of the risk we're taking. It's because of who you are.
So you're not disappointed?
You kidding me? To that speech? If you hadn't done this, I'd be kicking you out. And for the record, you're not the only one who got more family out of this deal.
You really are so beautiful.
No one's beautiful in fluorescent light.
You are.
So how did your mysterious adventure go? Did you get what you needed?
I did.
What's this?
Early wedding present.
Like, this is...
A copy of my letter of resignation.
If this is about the thing with Claire or the fight that I got into with my
It's
mom...
not. This is about us starting our life right. With a clean slate.
You don't have to do this for me.
I'm not. I'm doing it for us. Because as long as you're with me...
I'm with you.
Then let me go say goodbye to my office. Let's go home.
You walked out before we got a chance to celebrate.
Sorry, it's just been a long day.
Harvey, how exactly did you get that termination letter from Forsman?
Let's talk about it in the morning.
Harvey.
I agreed to step down.
Absolutely not. You are not going to step down.
It's done.
Nothing's done.
Jessica, please. You've given up everything for this firm. It's time someone gave up something for you.
What if I don't want you to be the one to do that?
Then forgive me because I am. Good news is Mike Ross is leaving.
I never thought I'd say this. But at this moment, that doesn't feel like good news.
It's a fight till the death. It'll take your last breath, but I'll be fine.
Michael James Ross.
Yes?
You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud.
It's not your fault, Harvey. I made my case. I convinced you to hire me.
I was the one that made the call.
You were. It doesn't matter. Because even knowing how it all turned out, I'd do it again.
Guess I would too. Because I never thought in a million years I'd meet someone dumb enough to be willing to go to prison for me.
Donna always said you were looking for another you. I guess you found one. I guess it's time to get busy living or get busy dying.
Well, that's goddamn right. Watch your back in there, Mike. I will.
Mr. Ross, we are prepared to hear your final statement.
Before we do, I have one last question. Mr. Ross, you say you're a changed man and you care about the truth, but I want to know if you're capable of telling the truth. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I suggest that you consider your answer very carefully, because as far as I'm concerned, your answer will determine whether or not you become a lawyer. During your time at Pearson Specter Lit, did anyone there have knowledge of the fact that you were a fraud? Mr. Ross, did anyone else know?
I knew. And if you're looking for a scalp, you can have mine. But I was under the impression that this hearing was not about my old firm, but whether or not Mr. Ross should be a lawyer. I say he should.
It doesn't matter what you say. He's already had someone testify for him.
I'm not here to talk about him. I'm here to talk about someone else.
Someone else has nothing to do with
I'd like to hear this.
15 years ago, a young woman was arrested for illegally obtaining prescription drugs. Turns out she had chronic pain and didn't want to drop out of med school, possibly never to return. So she stole a couple of prescription pads from the hospital where she was interning. A crime with a mandatory sentence of 7 years. But instead of throwing the book at her, the prosecuting attorney showed mercy. Had the charges knocked down to a misdemeanor, recommended probation, and sealed the records.
That's a touching story, but I don't see what a random attorney has to do with these proceedings.
She's not talking about a random attorney. She's talking about me. Just because I showed compassion once doesn't mean he deserves it now.
Maybe he doesn't. But that young woman is now an ER doctor. She saves lives. And the world's a better place because you saved hers.
Thank you, Miss Pearson. Mr. Ross.
I don't think I can add anything to that. I've made my case. I leave the choice to you.
Then this hearing has concluded. We will deliberate and let you know our decision by day's end. Thank you.
So what do we do now?
They said they would let us know by the end of the day, so we wait.
Well, it is the end of the day, which means...
Doesn't mean anything, Louis. Whatever's going on in there, Seidel's gonna fight like hell.
It's not gonna make a difference. She's never gonna change her mind.
I think she will.
What do you mean?
I mean, that story wasn't any old story, and that woman wasn't really a woman, it was a man named Joseph O'Neill. And it was Walter Sampson's godson.
So she did call in a favor?
Yes, she did.
Then we need to get her kicked off that board.
No, Harvey, we don't. Because I didn't fly all the way down here to strong-arm that woman. And I know the story of the wind and the sun.
What the hell are you talking about?
She's talking about Aesop's fable, which basically says that if you want a man to take off his coat, you don't blow it off. You make him feel warm and he'll take it off on his own.
That's not a strategy, it's a prayer.
Louis, I already admitted that I knew about Mike, and I reminded her of her own compassion. That's the best we're going to do.
You know they could disbar you for that.
In New York, they might. In Chicago, nobody's gonna care.
Thank you, Jessica.
Don't thank me. Thank Harvey. He's the one that called me.
Seidel. Hello. I'll tell him. Thanks for calling. You're in.
Oh my God, it happened.
I'm gonna go get us some champagne.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for flying in.
I wouldn't miss this for the world.
From the first second I met you, I knew I wanted to be here with you someday. Walking down the aisle, arm in arm.
Got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down.
I know that I fought it at first, but now, Mike, I can't imagine living alongside anyone else for the rest of my life.
And I'm so dizzy, don't know what hit me, but I'll be alright.
If I've learned one thing, it's that we never know what the future holds. And that can be a scary thing. But I know that there is nothing that I can't handle when I have you by my side.
You are the strongest man I've ever met, and you make me stronger. You're the husband I've always wanted. And I can't wait to begin our adventure together.
Do you, Michael James Ross, take Rachel Elizabeth Zane to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
And do you, Rachel, take Michael to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
And I now pronounce you man and wife.
Of me, and you give me all of you. Oh, what's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what hit me, but I'll be alright. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine.
Cheers.
I gotta say, Mike, those were some beautiful vows, especially the part about family.
Thanks, Harvey. And I didn't get to say it before, but I'm really glad you made it.
Me too. But I should be the one who's saying thank you. You saved the firm.
Harvey.
And before you say anything, let me just say, I was wrong. Your senior partner material, you are ready. And when you come back from your honeymoon...
We're not coming back, Harvey. Rachel and I were offered a chance to run a firm in Seattle. It's a place that only takes class action cases against Fortune 500 companies. We decided to go for it.
Mike.
Harvey, when Donna came to me, told me the firm was in trouble, I did exactly what I told you I would, but I don't ever want to have to make a choice like that again.
You don't have to. If you want to do more pro bono cases...
It's not the point, Harvey, and you know it. This is who I am. It's who I've always been. It's time, Harvey. It's time.
Mike, what are you doing here? I didn't think I'd see you till my first day.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing here. You may be moving to Seattle, but you don't have a job yet.
I get it. You want to interview me?
Well, I don't see another way around it. Otherwise, how am I going to know what I'm getting?
You want to know what you're getting? You're getting a guy who doesn't like to hang out with people that aren't that bright. You know, just to see how the other half lives.
All right. Well, let me tell you something. This isn't elementary school. This is high pressure, long hours. I need a grown goddamn man.
Well, I see you've got a Barbary legal handbook there.
Oh, this whole thing?
Go ahead. Open it. Any page. Ask me anything.
You really want to keep going with this?
Fuck no, I won't know a thing.
Well, did you at least bring a briefcase full of wheat?
No, but I know a guy.
Coffee cart.
You got it.
You're hired. You want to go see him for old time's sake?
There'll be plenty of time for that in Seattle.
Well, I'll see you there, Harvey.
Hey.
Yeah.
You give me this chance, I promise you I will school those Harvard douches and be the best lawyer you've ever seen.
Okay, but you gotta lose the fat tie. First impressions last. You get stuck behind a fat tie, you're never gonna get out in front.
It's time, Harvey. You ready to go?
You go ahead without me. They're packing up the place tomorrow, and I need a little more time before they do.
I understand. See you at home.
Hey. You know I couldn't have done any of this without you.
Any of what?
Everything.
Rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. One minute I held the key. Next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. I fear terrorists.
Whoa! You give me this, and I will become the best lawyer you have ever seen.
You start behind the 8 ball. You'll never get in front.
Some people love the taste of blood. Better to find out who you are sooner than later.
Salieri, Mozart.
Are you wearing braces?
Let me guess. You're Donna.
Oh, you have no idea how Donna I am.
Yeah, baby. Butch and Sundance are back.
Anyone comes at you with any threat at all, you come to me. You tell me. You tell me everything.
I'm a fraud.
We're not just colleagues or even friends. We're family. To Pearson Specter. Life is like this. And I like this.
Shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't